honestly, we are a huge train wreck right now. I don't know what we're gonna do. We need a lot of first round picks. First of all, back to the drawing board. We have a good O-line. We actually have a lot better O-line than most teams. Hello everybody, welcome. I'm O'Cold and we've got a great episode today coming at you. So obviously, as always, I've got my co-host right here, Alex Moss. Super excited to have him today. And then we have got a crossover episode from the Across the Lines podcast. Coyle, welcome to the show. We are so happy you're here. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great. I'm excited to be here with y'all, and I want to thank you. And I'm excited for a great episode, and I'm just happy to be here.
Absolutely, man. All right. So I know that Alex, I know this is a topic kind of personal to you, and I just want to get right into it. So Matt LeFleur, obviously, we've discussed him before, and a lot of people would blame their recent loss to the Bears on him. So I do have one question. With him coming back, how do you feel?
Yeah, well, kind of diving into that a little bit. We talked about it a little bit last episode, obviously. He didn't manage the game well. We had the lead throughout the whole first half, and then even into the fourth quarter, we had the lead, and we just blew it at the end. And I do want to say the blame is on Matt LeFleur. It's just he needs to be able to manage the game well. This isn't the first game he's lost off something stupid like not closing it out. We've lost off special teams in the past, and it's been like the last decade we've had an unfortunate losses in the playoffs like this. The Packers are a strong team. They've been a strong team since the NFL started. Obviously, we know they won the first Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs. So obviously the Packers, they're a strong team, right? But in the past decade, again, it's been kind of shaky, right? Botched punts, slow defense, bad game adjustments, bad tempo. It's been a whole lackluster of things, and that's kind of what falls on Matt LeFleur the past 5 years, I would say. Just not being able to close out these games, and that's one of the biggest things as a coach. Your job to do is to make sure you can adjust your pace, tempo, any of that. You just got to be able to adjust it to how you end your game. And with Matt, he kind of likes to slow down a little bit. He'll do the runs up the middle. He likes to run the ball a little bit. In that game against the Bears, Josh Jacobs only had 50 rushes off like 24 carries, and it's not acceptable, So I think that's just where the issue comes to is, he doesn't close out the game, which is what you have to do as a coach, and some of these other high-name coaches can do. So, obviously I'm a little bit disappointed. I don't really know many other coaches around in the carousel right now that would be a better fit than him. Obviously, he knows this team well. He's been with them for quite a few years now. But it comes down to, and I think this is going to be the year that decides it for LeFleur. Obviously, I think if we have another disappointing season this year, whether that's another first round exit or miss the playoffs completely, I think that's going to be the call for Matt LeFleur to get canned. And, it just we got to see how we can work this year. We don't have a first round pick, unfortunately, so it's going to be free agents, trades, maybe if that, into the next season, we'll have to see. But, it's kind of going to be shot in the dark, right? I think this team is young. They have potential. I love Jordan Love. I have my full faith in him as a quarterback. I think Packers fans all around, we always know that we are always set on a quarterback. Obviously, Jordan Love's not at the level Aaron Rodgers was yet, but he has time still. He's young. So I see a bright future for the Packers. It just depends on if Matt LeFleur can really just grapple this season this year coming up, and see how he can just play it out, right?
Well, there's something you said that I just can't get out of my head. It's Matt LeFleur knows his team. And I don't it doesn't make me mad, but I do want to debate that with you a little bit, because if there's anything that the Bears game showed us, it's that Matt LeFleur doesn't know his team. Because the O-line is pretty much all to blame for the horrendous running game we saw. And, if LeFleur, like, it's his job to see that and, call them out. And, like, if calling them out doesn't work, at least change the play. So, being able to recognize that and not, just do nothing about it, poor football IQ. I think that's just, I think it's all on him. This year's going to be a test for him, but there's not a lot of slack left in the line for him. Honestly, he could get canned halfway through the season. Like, they're a good team. They've had some, they put some good seasons together, but I mean, if he doesn't get his crap together and the same problems come out that we saw, last year and against the Bears, it's how they finished the season. That set them up so badly. They were great, throughout like most of the regular season. It's those last 4 games and then going into the Bears matchup. They just lost it. And then they had a good lead on the Bears. And, it's the Bears. Like, okay, we can beat this team. And they just let their foot off the gas. Like, give it to Jacobs, let him seal this game. That is not how you do it, like, nowadays. It's a passing league. It's a passing league. Obviously, sorry for cutting you off, but, obviously, running game is, obviously, I'm not saying it's a small part of the game. It's obviously, top 3 aspects, by far. It's passing, running, and defense. Those are the top 3 aspects. Special teams also plays a huge part. I'm not putting that, below any of these. Special teams could definitely win you games, but, it's just the O-line. Like, it was, Josh Jacobs is a good running back. Obviously, he's playing with the Packers now, but when he was playing for the Raiders, like, prime Josh Jacobs, barely anybody could touch him. And you got to give him a chance, at least. Because no running back's going to be good if he doesn't have a chance. I mean, heck, Emmitt Smith would have off games if his offensive line wasn't feeling it. They are literally the central point of this team. Most people would argue the quarterback is, but the quarterback can't hurt you if he's on his back. Same thing with the running back. Every single thing values around this O-line. I mean, when I'm making a Madden team, I always get my O-lineman first. Like, that is the centerpiece of the team, man. Like, you can't sleep on that. And obviously, don't have a first-round pick. That sucks. That just, they need to get an O-line. They need them quick. They're going to have to get a trade for a young guy with potential. Don't get me wrong, there's some great O-linemen out there, but, they're in their last, 2-3 years in the league. Their days are numbered as a lineman. So, you don't want to go for that. You want to get a guy, 25 to 30. Maybe younger. Maybe. You want a guy who's a seasoned veteran, yet still has a lot of years ahead of him. And not just one guy, multiple guys. You gotta focus on those guards and tackles first. I mean, the center's doing alright. I mean, he's making snaps. That's his job. I have, nothing wrong with the center. But the guards and the tackles, man. I mean, that's where it's at. And that's, that's why they're losing games. They just completely they just forget how to play football. So, once they fix the line, if they even do, I think that's when things will start turning around for them.
100%. I agree with you. And, it also kind of came down to injuries. And I'm not the type of person that's going to blame everything on injuries. But, our O-line was heavily injured this year. Our defense faced some injuries this year. Micah Parsons was out for the season right before playoffs started. Tucker Kraft obviously injured right before the playoffs were happening. So, it kind of all ties into it. And, Coyle, I know you're a Detroit guy. What was your kind of opinion? You guys were like the strong name of NFC North this year. Apologies. And then it kind of just all kind of crumbled down for the Lions this year. Obviously rivals to the Bears and the Packers. What was your opinion kind of watching through this season, just seeing your team not really play out how they thought it would, and actually the Bears being the dominant ones out of the NFC North this year?
Yeah, I really saw a really like mediocre season for us this year. I mean, we lost our offensive coordinator to the Bears. Like, isn't that something, you know? He went there and it's just crazy because there's a lot of problems that were going on through the season. Like Dan Campbell had to switch to like be the offensive coordinator. You know, we fired our offensive coordinator actually at the end of the season. Jared Goff looked good in games and not so good in games. You know, he just really couldn't get over the hump. You know, I mean, it was really actually a big part was our secondary was almost all gone. You know, Alex, like we had no passing defense. And it was you can't really like win games like and get over that hump like we had last season, like not last season but you know last season, that without a passing defense, you know. But it was everything was just so different and disconnected without our offensive coordinator and everything. I mean, we still went 9-8. We beat the Bears in the last game of the regular season, but we just couldn't get over that hump. And hopefully we make some changes next year. But I mean, it just felt different this year and not our year. I mean, and that's okay. And my dad's a Bears fan, so congratulations to him and the Bears for getting into the playoffs. I know you're a Packers fan. You're not congratulating anything, you know. But he's a Bears fan, so good for him. I knew Caleb Williams was going to do good, especially with Ben Johnson on their team. He just brings that firepower that the Lions do not have anymore with him gone. But yeah, I really do think it comes down to those aspects of what went wrong in the season.
Well, you know, Coyle, obviously, sorry. But, you know, obviously when the Bears, like, I'm not saying they're a bad team, but whenever the Bears is beating out the present day Lions, you know, coming out as really the powerhouse of the division, that says a lot about how your season went. Like, you know, records aren't everything, but, you know, that one kind of speaks for itself more than others. Like, if you have the Bears coming in and, you know, they're able to beat the Packers in a huge upset, you know, down by 18, and then obviously get into the second round, they get some momentum, but the Lions, that was going to be one of my top picks for the year. They made a really, really deep run last year. They blew it, but they had a really deep run. You know, made it to the NFC Championship. They were one game away from the championship, and then, you know, everything just fell apart in that game. So, obviously, you know, props to the Bears. You know, pull off some great wins during the season. Obviously, you know, getting the coordinators is huge, but Lions, you know, they got kind of messed up this year. I'm gonna be honest. It's not the same team we saw last year. And, I mean, I think that's clear more than anything. So,
Yeah.
you know, I think you're obviously, you know, knowing that you're a Lions fan, you're going to be very frustrated. But it's a rebuilding process. Honestly, Jared Goff, he's got that consistency issue. He's a great quarterback. You know, a few games last year, you know, in a game a few years ago, he went 18 for 18, Mr. Perfect. We know he can have those legendary games, but, you know, it's a consistency issue. It really is. And it's throughout all the Lions. You know, Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's a great player, has great games, but sometimes the consistency isn't there. I know y'all lost one really key game this year, and it was literally just because it was against the Steelers, and it's because St. Brown just pulled a bad block. It was in the final seconds of the game. I remember watching it and just being so frustrated at the Lions. Y'all had costly penalties. Obviously, you know, he got the lateral and Goff scored the touchdown and the ref called it back because of the block. You know, there's a lot of controversy. We could dig into that game for hours, honestly. But, you know, it's just mistakes that killed you guys. You gotta, you know, like you kept mentioning the word hump. And, you know, it's really just defined the season because there was that just barrier that they couldn't cross. Last year, there was no problem. And then this year, they were pushing it back just little by little, but they could never fully clear it. So I think eventually they're back to the drawing board, square one. They got to learn how to climb that barrier.
Yeah. I mean, we also lost to the Rams, which we should have easily won there too. You know, another controversial call with that tight end's knee being down. Not that was not a touchdown, but we could also dig into that for hours as well. I mean, games we should have had, you know. And
Well, Matthew Stafford's having a revival, bro. I mean, I'm sorry to cut you off, but yeah.
His consistency is iffy too, you know, like he has bad games and good games too. But I mean, it just really comes down to like what you do with that, you know. And also another point you said about Jared Goff's consistency. He crumbles under pressure. He cannot do anything when he's under pressure, you know? Like he can't throw the ball. And it's just
he doesn't function well under pressure. And that's like a huge, wrinkle in the NFL. If you can't work under pressure, there's no reason being in that pocket. Like when the going gets tough and you're in jeopardy, if you bail or if you just stop functioning, that's a red flag. Automatically. Like, talk to him about it, work on it in practice. If that doesn't help, I know this is a huge shot, but go find yourself another QB.
That's what I'm saying.
If he doesn't get it under control, obviously he's a great QB. A few years ago, just, kind of came up out of nowhere, really struggling with the Lions his first few years. It was looking really dark for him, honestly, in his first year with the Lions. I remember watching a Thanksgiving game and I watched him bumble like more times than I can count. And it was just such a struggle bus for them. And I don't want to see them go back to that because I think we all want the Lions to succeed to some degree. Yeah. They've never really been a good team. No matter if they had Calvin Johnson, Barry Sanders. They've had some of the greatest position players you have ever seen. And yet nobody to help them. So they end up being a bum team.
Yeah,
it's so sad. It's honestly, the Lions and their players might be one of the saddest tragedies in the NFL.
That's what happens when you're a Lions fan. But Alex, you have been really quiet, and I want to get you some words. What do you think about all this, Alex, my man?
Yeah, well, obviously I'm not the biggest Lions guy. I don't pay too much attention to them as a team unless they're playing us. But like I was saying, last year and even the year before, they show potential to be a powerhouse team. And I honestly think all three teams excluding the Vikings are the NFC North is going to be up in the air for the next few years. I think the Lions, Bears, and Packers all have hard chances to come out on top every year for that conference. Like Oak was saying, I love Caleb Williams' potential. Or I think it was Coy was saying that. I love his potential. I truly believe he could be a generational quarterback in this league with Ben Johnson just playing around with him a little bit more, trying to set him to be stable, trying to set him to find his ground in this game. I definitely see Bears fans to be happy in the future. I hate saying that, obviously, but, I do see them being a strong suit team as well as the Packers. I think if we can just get down our injuries and we can work out game management, then these two teams they're good. I like them. Vikings, JJ McCarthy, struggled this season. Did not play well. A lot of interceptions. Just didn't really look like he knew what he was doing out there on the field. And obviously, you have one of the best wide receivers in the country on your team, right? You have Jetta's. It's got to have something to work out. You can't have a star-studded player like that and not make games. You can't lose these easy games. So the Vikings just got a few things they got to work out. I do think they could come out to be a strong team, but, it's kind of just, it's iffy. So, I see all four of those teams having bright futures. Obviously, those three I named are the strong suits of that conference, but I see a lot of potential and good things that come out of the NFC North. Let's move on to our next topic, though. I kind of want to get into kind of a anybody's game type of conversation. Let's go down to the head coaches of the NFL. I'm going to just list them off one by one, and we can kind of do quick deep dives into them. Obviously, the biggest, not the biggest, but one that we most saw come in, Mike McDaniels was cut by the Dolphins. They've been struggling the last few years. Obviously, we know Tua can't stay healthy. Tyreek Hill wasn't healthy this year. Early into the season, he had that injury. So, McDaniels 35, I believe, yeah, 35 and 33. Can't speak today. 35 and 33 total record. He was let go into this season. Only 2 playoff berths for the Dolphins under his reign. No playoff wins. Guys, any comment on that? Mike McDaniels, I don't think I'm the only one who saw that coming. The owner let them know that they needed to make comprehensive changes. They needed something new. They're a decent team. Miami is a big named, how am I wanting to word this? Sports area, right? They got the Heat. They got a soccer team. They got the Marlins.
There's definitely a chip on their shoulder to perform well.
100%. They also parted ways with their GM, Chris Greer. They weren't happy. They just needed a clean house. Obviously, the Dolphins have not been good. I want to say the past 4 or 5 years. There hasn't been anything notable to come out from the Dolphins.
Well, it's going to be a lot longer than that, because if you remember the 2010 era, 2010s, 2020s, man, it was just rough. I mean, honestly, Ryan Tannehill back when he was playing for the Dolphins, it was really rough for them. So, McDaniels getting fired, I think we all saw that coming. And, I think Tua might be one of the biggest, most wasted talents in the NFL, because he has no O-line. He's taken so many shots to the head that I don't even know if he knows how to play football anymore. He's a great QB. He's an awesome QB. He was awesome in Alabama. He was awesome when he came into the league. But, I mean, the really only good thing noting is their 60-point game they put up a few years ago. I mean, that's the only thing anybody really ever remembers today, or just, pops into a conversation every, 2 minutes. It's not, it's just so, irrelevant, honestly. The fact that Tua, I think if he could have went back in time and was able to change his draft pick, I think he would have just straight told the Dolphins no. That could have saved him so much pain and so much time. And, if he just went to even just a slightly different team, any team but the Dolphins. The Dolphins messed him up so much. I hate them for that. I really wanted Tua to succeed. I'm a Vols fan. He annoyed me a lot. It was annoying to play him because that was the Saban era when, they couldn't lose a game. But, it's so frustrating for me to watch wasted talent. And Tua's, that's what he is. And, Tyreek Hill not even able. Tua's got the best, at one point, the best wide receiver in the league. And now, there's just nobody to help. They're kind of both just on their own at this point. So, they can't stay healthy because it's not even their own fault. Everything that has happened to Tyreek Hill and Tua Tagovailoa is not their fault. I don't blame them one bit. I would, I don't know, man. The Dolphins just, I don't know what to say. I mean, Coyle, you can probably get some words out for me, me trying to express my anger, so I'm gonna let you take this one. So what do you think, bro?
I got you. I mean, I really agree with you. Wasted talent, like you said. And also what Alex said, clearing out the powerhouse. That's exactly, not the powerhouse, just, the house. That's exactly what the Atlanta Falcons did, They just wanted to start new. And the Miami Dolphins want to start new, too. And it's just sad to me that Tua, he was great in college, and then he just had so much, what's the word for this? So much
Pressure.
Pressure and struggles and bad things, not really bad things, but disappointing things.
A series of unfortunate events.
Yeah.
I think it's the best way. They should really make a new TV show with that name and just make it about Tua Tagovailoa's career.
Tagovailoa, new documentary, something,
A series of unfortunate events with the Miami Dolphins put in parentheses because they're kind of irrelevant to the situation.
It's just crazy to me, but I'm really surprised on Mike McDaniel. I'm not I know other people aren't surprised on him leaving, but you can, like, he didn't get over the hump too, but like, I don't know why go to the Raiders, which is a worse franchise than the Miami Dolphins. I mean, now worse. Just like,
I don't understand why you're surprised. They're stuck in a loop. I mean, obviously, the Dolphins were stuck in a horrible, horrible, below average loop.
Yeah, but
You know,
it's not all Mike McDaniel's thought. Mike McDaniel's like fault. Like it's the O line, like you said, and it's the team. It's just something is not clicking. And I mean, sure, firing your general manager and your coach. I mean, you can do all that, but how about fix the team first? And instead of like firing your coach or like firing your GM, and all that stuff. But I really understand. It's just I have different opinions than all of you guys. I'm a unique guy. I have different opinions on everything, which whatnot. But I mean, it is surprising to me, and I don't really know how to put it into words to tell you. But I mean, that's what happened, and I really want the Dolphins to succeed here. So whatever it takes.
yeah, honestly, the whatever it takes mindset. Yeah. Whatever it takes mindset. Sorry, I'm cutting you off, Alex. So sorry, but yeah. Sorry, I just did it again. That's my fault, bro. But, like, whatever it takes. Same thing with the Falcons. Like, obviously, young Wei Koo forgot how to kick a field goal. Went from best in the world to now benched, which is frustrating. Penix Jr. not getting the job done, clearly. Bijan Robinson, awesome running back. Wasted talent. Like we keep saying, Bijan is wasting his time being at the Falcons. Same thing as Jay Jettis. I love the Falcons. But Bijan, go save yourself, man. You gotta get out of here, bro.
Well,
he has such generational talent that
yes, bro.
Let's stay on the top of the Falcons. Obviously, you guys know Raheem Morris was let go early into the season as well. He went 16-18 over 2 seasons. They actually named Matt Ryan as their president of the football operations. Obviously, we know the same thing. We haven't seen much from Atlanta since that Super Bowl where they blew the lead 28-3, which, by the way, Matt LeFleur was a part of that coaching staff.
He definitely was.
So that's why they lost.
I know Coyle also is a big Atlanta guy as well, so I kind of want to hear a little bit from you, and then Oak, you can jump in there too. I'm going to kind of stay out of this one a little bit. I'm not a huge Atlanta guy. But Raheem Morris, yes, fired as well. That's our second coach of this topic, so let's kind of do a dive on the Falcons season this year, what Raheem did for this team, if anything, and what do they look for in the future?
Why did you say I was an Atlanta guy? I'm from Michigan. But yeah, I mean.
Oh, you had to talk about I know you talked about Raheem getting let go on your podcast as well. So
that's right.
I didn't know if you had anything else you wanted to add on to it.
I can add a few things. I mean, like, they were mediocre, they were 8-9, right? I mean, they had like good games and bad games, and he did good, but like, that hump again, like getting over that. He didn't do that as well for Atlanta. I mean, I really liked him. I think he had like a powerhouse mindset. He brought energy to the team like I do, like I'm an energy guy, and I think he brought energy to the team, but like, I don't really know what went wrong. It's just,
okay. Time for the Falcons guy to take control. So, first of all, like you said, he brings a lot of energy. Clearly, that's not enough to break the barrier of insane mediocrity. We've talked about 3 teams that are stuck in the insane loop of mediocrity. Energy is not good enough, okay? It's not gonna be enough, okay? Look, I love the Falcons, but honestly, we are a huge train wreck right now. I don't know what we're gonna do. We need a lot of first round picks. First of all, back to the drawing board. We have a good O-line. We actually have a lot better O-line than most teams. Our defense? Oh, man. I don't even know where to start. I mean, you've got AJ Terrell. That's about it. So, obviously get him some weapons. Pronto. And then, quarterback. Quarterback. I don't know how many times I'm going to say it. I could say it for 10 hours straight and not get tired of it. Quarterback. It's ridiculous, bro. Atlanta Falcons are so ridiculous right now. We've got good players, but we're not using them well. We need new coaching. We need new management. Energy's about, all he brings to the table. So we need some more than that. We need some IQ. We need some, we need a guy who just knows this team. He knows what their values are. Walk in your trap and take over your trap. They need that mindset. They need that mindset back. They need to have a revival. They need to really rise up. Right now, it's just a slogan / pitch, but they don't even live it right now. I mean, they've got adversity this year. All they've done is just backed away. That's not what Falcons are. We need some core values in here. We need some Bear Bryant style guy. Just walk in here and be like, okay, y'all are a bunch of bums. We're going to fix that. We just need somebody to just brutally evaluate this team. Give the most honest thing he can do. Then come in there and fix it.
All right, guys, kind of episode short here a little bit. Few little technical difficulties going on. But if you guys like what you heard, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Inside the Huddle Podcast. You can get us on Spotify at Inside the Huddle Podcast, as well as Coyle. He's got a podcast as well, Across the Lines. Hit them up on Instagram and Spotify as well. Big things coming for both of our podcasts in the future. We want to thank you guys for listening. It's always a pleasure for you guys the time of day and for you guys giving us the time of day to listen. Stay tuned to the next episode. Thanks for watching.